Welcome today. So today we are talking about the way that you think, kind of as per usual. So have you ever been around someone who is just such a joy to be around and you feel energized and uplifted after spending time with them? Well, the reason why is because these people have a high vibration. Good things happen to them and they bring good things into their world. And typically this flows over into the people that they hang around with, because high vibration people are selective of who they hang out with. Now, the reason why they have all these good things happen to them is because they do this through their mindset, through their moods and through their words, and they attract positive things into their life because they emit this frequency from their minds and their hearts and their words and their bodies, that through those electrical impulses of what they're emitting out of themselves through their thought and through magnetism, it's returned back to them. So they're sending out the good and it's continually expected by them and therefore given back to them. It is your constant complaining and talk about what you lack and don't like, your aggression towards each other, your insistence on retribution, your criticism and slandering, which makes your lack and your sickness consistent day after day. People who are that high vibe, that joy to be around, you will notice something about those people, right? They don't criticize. They're not sitting there bad-mouthing and slandering other people. They're not aggressive people. They're very kind-hearted, loving, wonderful people. And I bet they don't talk about lack, and therefore they don't have any. Now, I am not a teacher of positive thinking because I know that that's not enough. There's so much more to it. There is so much more to it. This is not just about having a positive mindset, being a positive person. It is not that at all. It is literally about the frequency that you are emitting, and this is through thoughts. And so I'm not just saying, oh, positive, good, think the good things, and they're going to, do that. But what I'm saying is things that are in alignment with divine love. When people are in that frequency, miraculous, wonderful things happen to them. So I'm going to read this statement here. So if you guys don't know, I blog. I have a blog post on my website, so you guys can check that out. I will link the blog link below here. But I'm going to read something to you so that you can kind of understand here. So the statement that I'm going to read goes from rejection and complaining to acceptance and love, all within the same statement. So I'm going to read it out loud, and I want you guys to notice. Okay, so it's getting late. I ought to read a book to the children. I'm so tired though. I don't want to read a book. I wish that they could put themselves to sleep. I've had such a long day. But I better be a good mother and read to them though, because I do love to cuddle and have them sit on my lap, and I know that they like it. Pretty typical conversation, right? That you might have in your head throughout a day, if you happen to be a mother with children that was putting them to bed, in this particular example. But I'm going to read this again, and I want you to just really, really notice how it goes from rejection and complaining to acceptance and love, but all within the exact same statement. So, it's getting late. I ought to read a book to the children. I'm so tired though, and I don't want to read a book. I wish they could put themselves to sleep because I've had such a long day. I best be a good mother and read to them though. I do love to cuddle and have them sit on my lap, and I know that they like it. Okay, so this is so typical, right? So typical. Things like this happen regularly, all the time, all day long. And we don't even know that we're doing it, right? We don't even realize that in a statement like that we are actually complaining. It is our awareness. This is what I am making you aware of, because consciousness is all that is. It's the be-all and everything in your experience. And that consciousness forms the fabric of your universe, and everything that you're witnessing is only there because of your consciousness. So it's very important what it is that you are putting out because it returns back to you. So here's why this is important. So it's getting late. I ought to read a book to the children. I'm so tired though, complaint, complaint. I don't want to read a book, resistance to life and what needs to happen. I wish they could put themselves to sleep. I've had such a long day. I get it, right? We can have these long days. But what is happening in this statement here is we are resisting what is in front of us. We are resisting life. We are telling it no. But at the same time, but I better be a good mother and read to them because I do love to cuddle, have them sit on my lap, and I know that they like it. But at the exact same time, we are then also accepting and getting into alignment with the divine, which is that need, that feel of, well, I do love to read to them. I like it when they sit on my lap. I know that they like it. These are things that are in alignment, and the statements of, I don't want to do this are not in alignment. Why does this matter? Because what is happening is there is a resistance of life that is happening. There's a resistance of life in this statement. And what happens is this is as if you are swimming up the river. Okay? So we're all going with the flow. This is life, right? Letting go, going with the flow. Imagine yourself, you're floating in a river. You're just going down, all good. You see this bend coming up, and you're like, oh, dang, I don't know what's around that bend. So you start swimming upstream. People get stuck. So they can get stuck on all kinds of things. They can start swimming against the flow in literally any area of your life that you want to. What would that look like? Well, that would look like being stuck, right? Because if you're swimming up and the water's flowing down this way, you're putting in all this effort and you're doing all this stuff, but you are going nowhere. You might even, if you're a real strong swimmer, you might be going back, but you're not moving forward. You're actually stuck because you are not accepting what is placed in front of you. Saying, nah, I don't want that. I don't want that. And it's fine to know what it is that you don't want. And what you don't want will be presented to you so that you can choose whether you're going to accept it again or not, because from the past, you've learned from the past. And so let's say that you had, you had a relationship and you were really taken for granted. Well, how did that make you feel? Probably awful, right? Probably made you feel like you weren't wanted, you weren't needed, all these things. Made you not feel good. So what happened? Well, you decided, I don't want that. Perfect. Who would? Sounds awful. So then what happens is you are then maybe presented with something again because of the frequency that you emitted prior, right? When you were in that place of not being valued or whatever it was, when you were in that place continually, constantly, you were manifesting at that not valued level, constantly, every second that you were in it. Therefore, it's going to project itself out there in the future, be created, and come back into visible form for you again. So when this thing presents itself to you again, what do you say to it? Do you want that or do you not? Well, of course you're going to say, I don't want that. Perfect. But you can't be in that frequency of this thing coming back and be like, there we go again, proving to me again that I'm just not valuable or whatever it happens to be. You can't be in that frequency, or that's exactly what you're going to get again the second time that it comes around, when it comes back to test you out, see if you're going to take the bait. So how do we accept what comes to us when we've previously set forth the things that are now? We created them in the past and they are now present for us, day to day. How do we go with the flow of life? Well, here's how we do it. When you wake up in the morning and you got to go and you got to go do this and you got to go do that, do it willingly. If you don't want to do something, listen to that want. Ask it. Why are you here? Why are you telling me? Why are you telling me not to do this? And then listen to it. But when we try to control things in our life, so let's say, I want to work at this new place over here. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the river. I'm just going to go with the flow. And so I had this idea, because I'm going with the flow, that I would like to work at this place. Okay, idea's there. Keep going down the river. What more information can you gather about that place? What do I need to do? Okay, well, maybe you're going to gather a few things along the way, and as long as it's feeling good and it's feeling easy, we're going in the right direction. But as soon as we start pushing, like, oh, I need to work at this place. Well, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to push. When you're pushing, you're literally pushing away the life that is around you. You're actually pushing away the things that want to flow to you. So the way that you get that job is to be in the frequency of getting that job, having already got it. And it's like, well, how do you do that when you don't already have it? What does it feel like? Imagine yourself, you got it. That's what you wanted, right? Because what you have right now, at some point, that's what you wanted. And you've got it. And the reason why you have it now is because you were in that frequency when you manifested it, when you thought, hey, I want this. And then you started taking action, you started doing the things, and now you got it. Is it satisfying? Maybe not. Because if what you want isn't what's actually best for you, then there will be negative karma that you have to reap around it. So if I'm like, I want to work at this place, and I go out and I go there and I get the job and now I'm working at the place, but if I didn't involve the divine in this, if I didn't say, well, I was manifesting this, whatever's the divine will, what is actually best for me? And if I decided for myself, well, this place is going to pay me more, so this is what's best, or if I made those decisions on my own without the divine's input, then I could reap some negative karma in some way. Whereas if I just go with the flow and I have the thought of, oh, I want to work at this place, all right. And you wait for things to line up. Now, I'm not saying that you don't take action. I'm saying that you don't push. I'm saying that you need to be aware of what you are emitting second to second, constantly. So if you're trying to get that job, but you're pushing and so you're really stressed out, then what you are putting out there, the frequency you're putting out there, is pushing and stress. Do you want to have pushing and stress returned back to you? Probably not. Sounds like you're swimming up the stream. But if you can go with the flow and you can have the expecting that around that river bend is tomorrow, and that there's going to be absolutely something wonderful that's going to be offered, some kind of opportunity, some kind of something, and you truly and deeply, without a doubt, expect that something wonderful is coming around that corner, you let go of control, you give it over into the hands of the divine, and then all of a sudden you've got these manifestations just right in your hands, and you're like, which one do I pick? There's so many to pick from, I don't even know what to do. So, when you get in that situation, what do you want? What's your heart pulling you to do? What kind of action are you being intuitively, hey, you should get this done? Okay, well, I better get that done, and then go do it. The little steps, the little actions that you are intuitively guided to take, if you don't listen to those, it will be detrimental to your success. You will be stuck in the mud for as long as you decide you're going to be there. It's the decisions and the choices, it's the things you choose. People could be stuck there for years. Man, I know some people, they have ended a relationship like 10 plus, maybe even 15 years ago, and they're still in it. They're still obsessed with that past person, what they did, what kind of all the things, and it's like, what? Man, you are swimming up the stream. Let go and go with the flow, because there's some wonderful person that's not going to be taking up your energy like that just around the river bend. But when we use up the energy that we have in our day for detrimental things like swimming upstream, we're going to be exhausted, we're not going to be motivated, we're not going to be pursuing anything that we're passionate about because we just don't have the energy to do it. So think about that statement of rejection and complaining going to acceptance and love. So what part of your life right now are you rejecting? You're like, I don't like this, I don't want this. What part of your life are you rejecting? Because whatever part you're rejecting and you're putting out the, don't like that, think about that frequency. That's what you're going to get back. More of don't like that. That's what you're creating when you're resisting and when you're pushing. And you're just going to get more and more of it. And I know it can be difficult to do, to get into that high vibe when you're not feeling it, man. Been there, and it sucks. And I remember when I was in this lowly place, and it was there for 6 months after I found out what my ex did, and I was just heartbroken and devastated. I was in such a lowly place, but I knew these laws of the universe. I knew how this worked. And so I was just crushed because I was so sad and I was so broken and I was just, my whole life was shattered. It was not what I thought I had. I was embarrassed because I believed I had the happiness. You know, my life was great. And you know what? The thing is, I did. I had the happiness, but it doesn't mean that other people have it too. And so those people who are unhappy, they can hurt other people. But I was in the happiness. And then when this happened, when I got this information, it destroyed me. But what really destroyed me was the thought of it, was the thinking around it, was the emotional turmoil, the chaos, the destruction that came all from my thinking. And I allowed myself to be in that state for about 6 months. I couldn't even, I felt like I was drowning. I literally, every single day, I felt like I was drowning and I wanted to. I just wanted to drown because it just seemed like, oh, it'd be so peaceful. Man, if you just, it would just be so peaceful. And I don't know when the shift came. Might have been when I went up to my cabin that first time. But it happened because eventually everything changes. We don't stay stuck in that forever, but it was me making an active choice. It was the decisions. It was what I was choosing for myself of, no, I need to forgive this person. I need to heal the resentment that I have because I had so much hate and anger towards that man. And I knew I needed to heal that. Well, how do you do that? How do you even begin? Good thing I knew how to do it because this is what I do for other people. So I just did subconscious healing. I just did it on myself right before I started recording this. It's like, what is going on with me? So I tune in and I do subconscious healing with myself. I put myself into state. I bring up the emotion. I ask myself questions around it. I get answers about it and I deal with what happens to be there. I wish everybody knew how to do this. This is why I've gifted you the Mental Cleanse series and all these podcasts so that I can help you, because I want to just do a private session with everybody, but obviously that's not possible, you know, to have you come in person or do it through Zoom or whatever. It's not possible to do this for everybody, but I wish everybody could experience it and do it. But what is happening, so over those 6 months after I found out, what's happening was constantly, day after day, I was manifesting at that sad state level. It's no good. And you feel stuck. And what was going on during that time was a thought loop, a continual thought loop of confusion of, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. So it took me leaving that environment, actually leaving the house, leaving that environment and going and doing something completely different. And it took, like, I'm telling you, this was a 1.5 year process from when I found out to when I actually made a decision and left. So I'm not saying this is going to happen for you overnight. But it was me leaving the environment that I was in and going into a new place that allowed me to get out of that funk, out of that state, and to at least kind of see things clearly. And when the clarity finally did come through, the clarity was actually just energy. That was how I knew. I left, and all of a sudden my energy, my frequency, my vibe went way up, and I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling good, which I always associated with the enlightenment that I'd had. So I would go up to the cabin and I would start to feel this good, uplifted way when I was leaving town, because I knew I was going to go connect with the divine, but I didn't realize that's not what it was. That my energy was raising up because it wasn't being drained anymore. It was environmental. It was where I was at. It was someone that was in my house that was draining all the energy away from me. And I didn't realize, because at one time I loved that man. You know, at one time I did. And so we make excuses for people, right? We do. For the people that we love, we make excuses for them. And if we're around them for long enough, we're operating on the level of whatever it is that you're at when they're in your environment. And because you're around them all the time, you don't even know what it's like to not be around them until all of a sudden you leave, and then you're like, oh, I see. Now, I'm not telling anybody to go and leave your partner, but I'm telling you to be aware of the energy, because it doesn't lie. It didn't lie to me. After the fact, when I found out everything that he'd done, and he would try to sweet talk me, and he would say things, I would get actual shocks. And I've never had it before, and I've never had it after. Actual shocks when he would say something to me, like shocks to my energetic system, that I was like, oh, and it was noticeable. He would notice. He could, like, you could see, like it was like I was being electrocuted with words. But I'm so trusting and very naive, very trusting. And I think that this was my body's way of telling me, don't trust the words this man is saying. Because I had been for the last 20 freaking years. And because I wasn't listening, and the divine loves me more than I could ever the divine freaking loves me, man. I was then warned and protected because my intentions were so pure and loving and good. All I wanted was good. When I went up to my cabin, what did I want to do? I wanted to forgive him and heal myself, heal the pain that he put me through so that I could still keep loving him. What? Why would I do that? But it's because my intentions were so pure and loving. And I just wanted to heal this. And it was like, oh, I can heal the whole situation just all on my own. All this pain this person put me through, and this lies and this betrayal and the deceit and all this stuff. I can just heal it. I can make it better. But everything was telling me, get the F out of Dodge. Get the F out of there. And because I was still there however long later, then my body starts sending these shock waves when he would say things to me, and I just thought, okay, well, this is obviously not true. Whatever he's saying to me right now, the sweet things he's saying, they're not true. And there was so much good proof after I left, and still continued daily, every single day, I get proof that I did the right thing. Now here's the thing, when you complain or criticize, so like let's say that I leave him and now I'm just going to complain and criticize and all of the things. If I just sat there and ran him down into the ground, what's happening when I'm doing that? I'm creating that frequency of whatever it is. So whatever thing I would be saying about him, it would be as if I was saying it about myself, right? And creating it in my life for myself. I don't want that. I don't want that ever again. So by complaining and by criticizing and by putting other people down and be like, well, they did this to me and this and that, I'm telling you guys for teaching purposes. Because in my real life, well, if somebody asks, I might tell them. But I'm not sitting there bad-mouthing nobody. Because I don't want that kind of karma back on me. I don't want to put out that bad stuff, because how is that good? How has anything good ever come from that? And you know what? It doesn't make you look any better when you sit there and you bash somebody else, or you complain about them, or you criticize them, or you anything. It makes you look like a real negative complainer. That's what it looks like. It doesn't have, people don't even listen to the thing that you're saying about the other person. They just listen to the negative BS that's coming out of your mouth. And when you complain and you criticize, think about the difference between talking about something that's good, that's uplifting, that's nice and light, or talking about criticizing and complaining. And the frequency that's held within that is very low. And you will manifest back again into your life that very low frequency. Whatever it is that you're putting out, you're going to get it back. So when you shift your awareness and you stop complaining and you stop criticizing, guess what? You've now shifted your focus. And because you've shifted your focus, those things that you could regularly criticize and complain about, pretty soon there aren't those things to criticize and complain anymore, because you've shifted your focus completely. And so your life, the fabric of your life has changed now, and so it's not bringing things into your life to criticize and complain about. You view this in a different way, and so therefore different things come into your life because you've shifted your focus away. And whatever you're focused on, you're creating. So this is called transference. When you think about something that is peaceful and calm, it makes you feel peaceful and calm. And even the thought of floating releases endorphins in your brain that cause just a really pleasant, nice feeling. So this is called transference. You become what you think about. Now, this is on a moment-to-moment scale, right? So if you think about this, beautiful cabin in the woods on a nice lake, and it's just so beautiful, it makes you feel a certain way, right? Nice, peaceful, tranquil. I want to be there right now. But if you were to think about, I'm not even going to say anything negative, but if you were to think about something negative, you've now lowered your frequency, and you're now manifesting at that level. You're now creating at that level. You're now imbuing the fabric, all that space of your reality, with negativity, with low vibrational things that are going to come back to harm you at some point in the future. As harmful as it is that you've sent out, that's the harm that's going to come back to you. Equally, the good that you've sent out, that's the same good that's going to come back to you. So you have a choice. You can send out the good all the time. You can send it out all day long. And if somebody does something, you know what, I don't even see it anymore. If other people might complain about other people, or say, oh, this person this or this person that, I could have been there. I'm not even going to see it. I'm not even going to allow myself to tune into it. So I recently, this is one time since I've been down in this country, in a year and a half, went to an event and there were some negative people there. Real negative, the type that are, spiritual, but they are just, that's even worse, because you came here to this spiritual thing and you're low vibe spiritual. No way, man. That's bad, but you're going to get the karma to come back from it. Anyways, they were talking about stuff, and I just wouldn't even allow it in my world. I put the bubble around myself, tuned it out, and sent all that negative energy that they were putting out on me back to them. Just transmuted it. And so, maybe back in the day I would have cared. I don't know. That's hard to say. Hard to say if I would have cared what somebody thought back in the day, because I don't ever remember caring about other people's opinions or what they thought about. That's part of the maybe black sheep in me, is like, I just don't care. So when somebody would say something or do something, which is so rare, this is the only time I can really think of, that could have been hurtful or harmful, it makes me laugh. That I can't even help it. That's how I transmute the energy. It doesn't make me feel bad about myself. It makes me know that the people who are doing this are going to get their karma back, and maybe that's what's so funny about it, but I don't think so. It's not making fun of anyone that I'm laughing about. It's just laughing for the fact that I ain't accepting this energy, and nobody's stealing my laughter and happiness out of my life. It's never happening. Never again. So when we have low frequency, when we're putting that out, these people who are doing this, it is going to come back to roost and to harm them in the exact same way that they put it out. But lucky for them, it didn't harm me. So they're just going to get what they put out back to them. No extra karma. Because had that caused me harm or emotional pain in some way, they would get that back too. So you know how you say, like, the goodness you put out, it comes back multiplied? Well, that's what I'm talking about with negative karma, because it can come back multiplied too, right? So let's say I go out and I do this thing, and I do something to somebody else. Okay, well, not only is something similar, it might not even be similar. It's going to be something in the same harmful frequency. Whatever I did to that person, that is going to come back to me. But also the damage that I did to that person, the emotional turmoil and damage that I created on that person, that's going to come back to roost on me as well. So when you send out the good, it can come back just multiplied. Think about this. You heal somebody. Let's say you happen to be a healer. You heal somebody. Well, you did not only help that one person. You helped every single person that they love, right? Because you don't love to see the people that are in your life sick or hurt or harmed in any way. No, and it makes you, not feel great if they're suffering in some way. So if you heal somebody, you didn't only affect that one person, but a multitude of people. This is how that karma comes back expanded. This is how it comes back even bigger. Because the goodness that you did truly did expand, truly did get bigger, and it, through magnetism, comes back to you. There's only goodness that can come from doing good for other people. And there's only bad that can come back from doing bad to other people. And when you're resisting life, when you're resisting what is right in front of you, you're pushing upstream and you're never going to get to where you want to go. And that's why you feel stuck. So I hope you all have the most wonderful day. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And I will see you guys tomorrow as per the usual. Thank you for all of you who actually do tune in and who like my videos, because it helps the algorithm, and especially when you sign up for those notifications and turn the channel on. Sign up for my channel. I love you all, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.